Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Richmond Rumor Mill. I am the host with the most. I am Janness, and I am here with what I perceive to be one of the most beautiful-looking Asian men. Beauty matters. Nathan Song. How are you? You comfortable?
I'm good. Thank you, Janness.
I feel like you're trying to match my energy. I mean, I got my legs crossed. You want to have your legs crossed.
Yeah.
I'm leaning. You're leaning.
Yep.
What's this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like cut down on the animosity so you won't like
There's
take
no
a huge bite out of my butt. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, there's no animosity.
I'm also doing this. You know what I'm saying?
My hips are a little tight on the right side, so I can't do that.
Okay.
But fantastic. Good for you. I want to talk a little bit about this. What's happening
Your
up here?
face.
Your face. Because you're a beautiful man.
Am I?
Yeah.
Mm.
How do you define Asian male beauty? You know, is it to look more Asian? Is it to look less Asian? Is it to look more white, I suppose, if you're going, moving to the Western culture, if you're trying to exist as a successful Asian man in Western culture? Do you want to look more white? Do you want to still, retain what made you so Asian to begin with? Like, what is Asian male beauty to you? Like, to me, like, the way that I look, I can't control the way that I look, so I would imagine that you perceive me to be a beautiful Asian man. Is this correct?
Absolutely. You are a specimen of a beautiful Asian man. And you know what the most beautiful thing about you is? It's inside. It's the most beautiful thing is inside of you.
Well, why do you got to put it like that?
Well, I mean, there's the outside and then there's the inside, which is like also really important. You know, if you look at the sun glows because it glows from within.
But like, you didn't have to like make that the first thing. Like,
no,
like you could comment on how I'm beautiful outside.
Yeah, like really
you
nice.
You should have made that the first thing.
Nice socks, glasses. I love.
You're
the
deviating
hair.
here. You're deviating to fashion and what
also
I choose
external.
to wear.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell me that I'm a beautiful Asian man.
You are a beautiful Asian man, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, yeah.
But how do you define that? How do you define Asian male beauty? I mean, to you,
yeah.
Like when other people say, like, "Wow, Nathan Song,
yeah,
that's a beautiful man." I see that on my television. When I go to Korea or I go to some Asian country, like if I'm a white woman, I'm going to these Asian countries. I want everybody to look like Nathan Song. And so are you the definition of Asian male beauty? Is that what we're going with?
Well, actually, you know what? Since I'm in your house, I want to ask you, right? Define just beauty in general. Like if you see these features in any person, any race, what are they? Like, are there like 10 features that you would describe as like beautiful?
Let's just say, for example, someone who woodworks.
Okay.
Someone who can do and complete an everyday task.
Okay.
See, my issue is...
like a carpenter or a lumberjack or...
yeah, a plumber.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Someone who works like for a
physical labor.
Physical labor. Like they can actually, they look like I can't hang up a photo on the wall.
Is this like, what is this? Is this like a technical issue? Is it a height thing?
Well, I mean, I'm a short guy. You know, I'm like 5'6".
Maybe your house is too tall.
It's probably a little bit too tall. It does have high ceilings, but I feel like that's more of like a thing of social status. I want high ceilings and I want people to know how much money I've earned.
How big your success is.
Well, yeah, because my podcast is one of the biggest podcasts in the world, right? And so when you look at this podcast, you're like, okay, this guy's successful. It doesn't really matter the way he looks. It matters his opinions. It matters the guests that he brings on. Like, to bring someone of your stature on this show, I think not only does it boost my ratings, but obviously it's going to help you.
It's going to launch my career into the stratosphere.
Because, we're here in the West.
I might even win an election just from being on a podcast.
Well, yeah.
I might.
That's true.
Your podcast.
Exactly. But getting back to really what is attractive about what we find attractive in the West is, let's just say, for example, Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Right?
All right. Good looking dude.
Good looking dude.
Strong.
Right?
Chiseled.
Well built. Yeah, very chiseled. Yeah. Sharp face. Pretty much every Asian man who wants to have a sharp face, unfortunately, they have to get cosmetic work done to make it sharper because have you looked at my face? A little doughy on the side. You can't do anything about that. Like, I could have the best personality in the world. How are you gonna fucking chisel the face? Right? Right? Because if I chisel my face, I'll look a little bit even more effeminate than how the West already perceives me.
Ah.
What I'm saying
Okay,
is
I see where you're going with this.
Exactly.
Okay.
What is attractive about
Okay.
Glenn Powell is that he looks like he can complete any task. He can look like he can woodwork. He can look like he can hang up a painting on the wall.
Yeah.
He can move hay bales. He can farm. But have you ever seen an Asian man and go like, oh, okay, he can do all of those things?
It's just that maybe that's not a thing that we like necessarily tout in the Asian culture. You know what? I think that's the same thing in the West. You know, what is beautiful is where the power is. I think in the West, for the most part, the power has been European. And so we're like, okay, that's what a king looks like. I want to be a king, so I got to look like this dude. And therefore, that's slowly turned into, that's beautiful. I admire that. That is like something that I desire. But now, power is cultural. You know, K-pop is huge. You got BTS coming over here. They look nothing like Glenn Powell, but you're still like, you still hear girls just lose their breath a little bit when they walk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's sugar.
Right. It is actually a very different sort of degree of beauty because what's actually kind of coming back in fashion or out of fashion is that it almost seems as if there's almost a degree of relatability. Because when a viewer or when an audience member watches something like that, they can be like, oh, that could be me too. And if the West perceives this person who can complete everyday tasks to be attractive, then why can't I be attractive and do all those things too? You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. What are your everyday tasks? Like on a day-to-day, what are you experiencing? Like what happened before you came here?
You know, you've seen those videos where people can just kind of like fix anything like on a dime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if something's wrong with the sink, boom, you can fix it. If, let's just say, for example, a painting on the wall is askew, it's rake, you know, you fix that. Like if there's anything, if there's any problems within the house, like I feel like today's generation generally can't do anything about it without watching a YouTube tutorial. Right. Whereas back in the day, if you look at the 1950s and 60s, what do they all look like? They look like Marlon Brando with a nice clean white T-shirt, you know, workman's pants, and they can just do shit. They can get shit done. And I think that's almost kind of in a way, generationally, it's actually becoming hot again to be able to complete everyday tasks. Whereas, you know, I don't know how the West perceives most Asian men, but I would imagine that if we can't sing, if we can't dance, if we can't do K-pop-y shit, that's going to be a really, really tough sell.
There's a really complicated relationship of what Asian culture entails. Like when you're talking about K-pop, right? Well-groomed, dresses well, you know, tone body, dances so good, is like a great boyfriend, very caring, and like knows how to cook things at home. Like that is like the K-pop boyfriend, right? But there was also a time when being Asian meant you know kung fu, you're really good at maths, you have to be bad at driving. Like there's a lot of what that is. And a lot of that is like, it can almost be the opposite depending on where you are. Like from Hong Kong, being good at kung fu, being good at maths is an asset. To this day, you know, if I go back there and then a director is like, hey, I'm looking for the next leading man. The first thing they ask, other than can they act, is like, can they do action? Can they do their own stunts? If it happens that they're like well-educated, plus, because PR loves that. And when you're like, oh, you know, this smart dude is also like, you know, super physically capable. But then if you come back to the West and you're like, yo, this dude who I met from Hong Kong knows kung fu, super good at maths, very smart. They're like, oh, what a stereotype. So it really depends, I think, on how much you want to take ownership of a thing that I think could either be an asset or not, or a liability. To me, everything should be an asset. If you are this, then own it.
I don't really give a shit whether people agree with me or not, because I feel like it's my job to make sure that everybody knows the truth.
But that's what I'm talking about. That in itself, that confidence, I would argue that a lot of people would find that sexy, find that attractive, and that's intangible. I think a
So
lot.
you're saying I'm sexy?
Yeah, absolutely. Confidence, ability, smarts, being generous, being good to your guests. That's all sexy.
I mean, I can't say that I've been good to all of my guests.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes you gotta have to stir the rumor mill.
Okay.
Name of the show.
Okay.
Name of the show.
Yeah.
We gotta stir the rumor mill. We gotta make sure that, you know, this thing does good numbers.
Yeah.
And if we don't have controversial takes, hot takes, how is this show gonna survive?
Well, how about this little hot take, right?
Okay, go for it.
What is Asian male beauty in comparison to like traditional white beauty? Is that what you're really talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, can Asian men be attractive without trying to look white?
There you go. There you go. And I think the answer is yes.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Or without looking gay. 'Cause some of them
Okay.
do look quite effeminate. Is there an in-between?
Probably.
Nothing wrong with looking gay. I'm just saying that it's a different culture.
I mean, if you were to open up about what you preferred,
yeah,
it wouldn't be a problem.
certainly not. I mean, I like to wear foundation sometimes, but that's only to cover up my blemishes, not to really have like a glisten to my face, like a glow, like a sparkle. Because sometimes, you know, you do watch a K-drama and stuff like that, and yes, there is a very low degree of relatability because they look so perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like when you look like a Lee Min-ho, you can get whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
If you look like a Glenn Powell, and Glenn Powell, by the way, does not. I keep bringing up Glenn Powell. And
Now I'm starting
like,
to see I see what you're trying to say. Yeah.
that's two different levels of attraction, right? And
So you're
I
saying
want,
Glenn Powell to you is more attractive than
not
Lee
saying
Min-ho.
he's more attractive. I'm just saying that they're both attractive, but in very different ways. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. It's not even to each specific culture, because I find that women in general, they love the way that Glenn Powell looks, or men, and women in general also really like the way that Lee Min-ho. There's something about Lee Min-ho's like shyness, or like almost as if he's not bred for what he's doing. Does that make sense? Because Lee Min-ho has this thing was like, I shouldn't even really be a star.
You know what? Yes. Then I guess the answer is yes. You can be Asian and attractive without trying to be white.
Exactly.
Without trying to act white either.
Yeah. You don't have to act white.
But this is the thing, about like assimilation, right? You feel like in order to be attractive, you have to not be too different, right? As a teenager and when you're in school, being different, even having like red hair when everybody else has brown hair, even that's enough to get you ostracized because kids are mean.
Sure. But some of them actually, they look to be different. Like they want to be different because they don't want to assimilate. And it's not even about culture or about the
it's
color
this
of
idea
your
of
skin.
who
It's just
am
like,
I?
hey, I'm different. I want you to perceive me to be a different person. I got a different attitude. I don't conform.
Well, it's cooler now, which I love.
It is.
It's cooler to be very different, to be very unique. But I'm saying like majority.
Yeah.
For the most part, if you're going to the office, you don't want to be the only dude in a disco dress, right? Sure. If you're going to a supermarket, you don't want to be the only one in a thong.
Yeah.
It's not illegal, but it will make you feel a little uncomfortable. But what I'm saying is, first of all, yes, I think you can be Asian, male, and attractive without trying to act or look white, because everything you just described about Lee Min-ho is not traditionally Western or Caucasian. Humility, right? That's a big thing.
Genuinely seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, very approachable. So he doesn't have the like, I could break you if you cross me, which is like the traditional strongman, like lumberjack thing. Like, don't mess with my log cabin.
Yeah. Has a beard.
He does not have a beard. Very
doesn't
clean.
have a beard.
Very clean.
Most men, their beards are their makeup. It is essentially a woman's makeup. That is the quintessential of a man's beard, because some men just don't look right, especially if you look at, and we're not trying to chop any race particularly down, but a white man without a beard, strange.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, a white man
they should be able to grow beards. Like, if there's anything going for them, they should be able to grow beards.
Okay.
And when they can't, like, I feel like it's, a better excuse for an Asian man not to be able to have like to not be follically challenged. But if you're white, short, and then also you're follically challenged, both bald and on the face, you're fucked.
No hair.
Like, okay, so if you're bald,
Yeah.
okay, if you're bald, you choose to shave off your entire head.
Yeah.
Okay, or you don't, you leave a couple stragglers
Okay.
on your head.
Okay.
You should be able to grow a fucking big ass beard.
Okay.
To make up for that. Okay? But like, I don't feel like you and I would ever have that issue. Like, we can both not have beards and still be considered relatively attractive. You, very attractive.
I think the issue is attitude here, right? It's like how you look at it.
Right.
Because for
how you perceive yourself?
Yeah, and also how you perceive like any of these labels. Like whether you're measuring like ability, you field work, intelligence, good looks, the ability to care for a girlfriend or dance on stage, be flexible or like be humble. Whatever it is that you have, that is your arsenal. I feel like maybe the first step to being sexy and attractive is not to be a victim. That's probably the most unsexy thing. Is to feel like the whole world made me unsexy, therefore I'm just gonna. If that was your ailment, we would have never gotten the great Janness.
That is true. And like, there is a level in between confidence and delusion. You know what I mean? It's because we can command confidence. We can muster from the inside, like how confident we are. If I wasn't as confident as I was, I wouldn't have one of the most successful podcasts in the world. It's because I believe in everything that I say. Because honestly, you really, why are you here? You're here to make sure that everything about you is understood on a mainstream level. And I'm here to help you with that.
You know what? I'll take that one step further. I'm here because I've been inspired by you. And I think just being here for this conversation, whether or not that like leads us to the next stage, that's already growth for me. And that's Asian.
There it is.
Yeah. There we go.
So obviously one of the biggest stars right now in the West, who is Asian.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi himself, the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Mr. Chi.
Yeah, Mr. Chi himself.
Yeah.
When he shot up to superstardom with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, you know the first pile of comments from Asian people were?
Like Asian people here?
Asian people in general.
Well, I can tell you from like...
Unattractive.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was more like, oh, who is this guy?
No.
No? Okay.
They just downright said this dude was ugly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was shocked. I was like,
okay,
I wouldn't say that he's ugly, but I wouldn't say that he's like, oh, the best looking dude ever. You know what I mean? But to conventional Asian standards, Asian people thought he was ugly.
Okay.
Or at least not attractive. It's like, well, why this guy?
Okay, well, let's break this down. Why do you think that is? Why do you think
I don't know.
Like an Asian audience would be like not attractive?
I think there's elements of him that is almost kind of too normal, I think, for the Asian demographic.
Oh.
I think the Asian demographic likes the fact that when Asian men are slightly a little bit more effeminate, they do look like a K-pop star. They look like someone who belongs on a stage. And when they look at Simu Liu, he doesn't, to them at least, not to me, he doesn't scream superstar. He just looks like a regular-ass dude.
Just a little bit before, you were talking about like, okay, cool, like your favorite?
Sure.
Glenn Powell.
Yep.
Attractive built dude, but also looks a little like has a little bit of that everyman vibe. Does that not apply to Asians? Like, do they all have to be the Big Bang or like?
Yeah.
That's it. That's Asians have to be like that.
Well, I mean, that's not my opinion. I'm just saying that.
We're just trying to like break it down, right? Do you have to be Lee Min Ho, Big Bang, or bust, basically?
If you grew up in the West, you have a certain specific expectation when you see a popular Asian male.
Okay.
And that is someone who sings, dances, has an amazing voice, auto-tune or not. And when they see someone like Simu Liu, yes, the people who in the West will find Simu Liu to be incredibly attractive because it's something that is new to them. It's hot. It's the new, that's the flavor of the month, so to speak.
The new.
But for Asian people, they looked at Simu Liu and they were like,
You know what's interesting to me? Like the things you just mentioned, like he does sing.
Nobody knows that though.
He released his own songs.
Did he?
Yeah. You can look it up. He has stuff online.
Okay.
He does dance.
Does he?
Yeah. And from like the skill level, if we're talking about like what things like people like appreciate, you know, if they're looking for like an Asian artist, right?
Yeah.
Most of our most beloved actors are actually I wouldn't say most, but many are not conventionally good looking, even for us, because we're like, that aura is crazy.
Do you think the majority of people accept Simu Liu because he's the only option?
I think we're a little bit confused is what it is. We're confused as to what we really want. You know, we're confused because we don't know if we should be encouraging our champions or like taking them down, which is also like super Asian.
It is super Asian.
It's very Asian. Like when somebody comes up, you gotta humble them. Like get them right back down, squish them real good.
You have to make them remember where they came from.
And if they survive, then I like you.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen like a million times. And I think we're a little confused as to what we want from Simu or anybody like him. We don't know what we want. Do we want him to like, let's get him. Let's get him to that level. Let's get him like all the way up to the stratosphere so it can help make change or not. Like maybe that's his choice as a human. Or do we want to like, okay, well, there's enough currency now. Let's mess with him a little bit so that we feel alive. Like we have somebody that we can comment on now. It's not just, you know, the Caucasians who have like 15 examples of people who we can gossip about. We got one dude. Let's go. I think we're confused. I mean, we have a lot of great Asian actors who are not necessarily like now the face of, you know, a Marvel franchise. You know, Steve Yeun. You can still enjoy Randall Park. You can enjoy all of those people without saying like definitively because I like them, therefore he's not attractive.
You know what's interesting is that between Steven Yeun and Simu Liu, from my perspective, from a level of attraction, it's Steven Yeun.
So like when you see him on screen, you wanna jump.
You almost want to root for him a little bit more. Whereas when you want
to do what you would do to Glenn Powell.
He's my Glenn Powell.
Asian
right?
Glenn Powell.
But when you look at Simu Liu, you're like, oh, he's kind of like the only option right now. He's in a big Marvel franchise. Essentially, he's being pushed to the moon.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have Steven Yeun who can actually, and I'm not saying Simu's not a good actor. I'm just saying Steven Yeun has more powerfully compelling performances and is more selective with the work that he does, even obviously being brought up in the West.
You know what the answer is, I think?
Yeah.
We just need more.
We need a lot more. We need just more options.
Yeah.
Just so that we have people like, because guaranteed if there were 4 more options, Simu would be at the bottom.
And look, with more options, then our kind of confusion will stop.
Yeah.
Because we stop being so desperate and angry and like, you know, like who's complaining that like Andrew Garfield isn't like slightly more or less attractive than a Timothée Chalamet than a whatever, because there's like 500 of them to choose from.
Sure.
In terms of like that level of stardom, of exposure, of like skill, there's a lot to choose from, to enjoy, for us to learn from. There's not a lot of Simus right now on screen for us to enjoy, at least in the West.
And I think that's the problem. When you don't have a lot of option and you're given the one, you know, Simu is the be-all, end-all because he's the only one getting that push. Yeah. And so when there isn't a giant pool of Simus or people who are similar to that look like people like you and me who were brought up, you know, for myself, brought up in the West, it's a little tougher. It's a little bit more difficult because it's like, hey, because he's the only option, this is what I have to aspire to be accepted by the West.
In order to quell this kind of like controversy, step 1, we need a pool of Simus. We need Simu pool. Number 2, because there's going to be a Simu pool, it'll make us less jealous that we aren't in the Simu pool.
Sure.
And because we're less jealous, then we'll start looking at like, then you'll be able to finally say, is Simu unattractive to you or are you just a hater?
True. Yeah.
And at that point, if you're still like, Simu's still not attractive.
I mean, if he comes on the Richmond Rumor Mill, I'm going to stop being a hater. Like if he sits across from me and we get to hash things out, and I'm like, "Hey, I want to be you, and I want to be,"
and he says
have
like,
the success
be me
you.
right now.
Yeah,
And
I
then you-
want to have your success. If I said that to Simu,
Yeah.
and he was able to share some of that success and cast me in Shang-Chi 2, The Legend of the 11 Rings or whatever the fuck, then
Yeah.
I'd be fine. I'd be happy
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But because I can't, I'm going to be right here talking to you about how much.
discussing his attractiveness.
Yes,
Yeah. The real issue is in Simu.
it is not.
It's the Simu pool.
Yeah,
We need the Simu pool.
let's do it.
Solve
Let's
it.
get more Simus in here
Mm-hmm.
that aren't Simu.
Simu you.
Simu, you.